Hello, my name is Esther Nema, and today we are starting the first series of Portraits of Hope. Real stories, real people. So not only will we have common stories, but we'll also have stars of people that we really admire, people like our guest today. She's an entrepreneur of over 10 years, an award-winning journalist and director, and today she comes to tell us the story of what has made her a true alchemist. Join us today as we start Portraits of Hope and look forward to many more interesting stories of many people you would like to hear. Thank you for joining us, and tell us about Santa. Just to introduce yourself before. Who is Santa?
Okay, Santa is a creative director, stroke entrepreneur. So I work in theater, film, TV production, as well as corporate video production as well. So I've been in the industry for about since 2011. So it's actually quite a long time. And so anything in terms of creating a vision for a project creatively, and then taking it from, conceptualization, budgeting, doing the work itself, and then the final product. That's what I do.
All right, perfect. So I know you personally as an entrepreneur for over 10 years, and I just want to understand, did you always think you were going to be an entrepreneur? Where was that seed first planted for you to become the Santa that we know you of?
So when I started out, I wanted to be a news anchor. I wanted to be Christina Manpur. So I don't think I had actually thought that far. And then I went to university, did the studying, and then got my first job. I used to work as a video editor. And I just felt like there's more that I want to do. So first started out as a communications officer, then I became a video editor. And then my third job, I was working at a place called Kamwaki Productions. And the boss that I had at that time was very, someone who's not scared to have people take up the reins. So he would sit with me and show me, this is how you budget, this is how you plan for production, I'd go down to River Road and all of those things. Then I sat down and I said, you know what, I think I could actually do this. I think I could be an entrepreneur.
Yeah. So the seed was planted at that time?
Yes, that's right.
So it's not something that actually existed when you were in university, or it was just at that job then you thought, okay, I can start my own thing?
I think it's because when you were young, us guys were just given the template. You're given the template for, you wake up, you go to school, you get a job, and you do all of those things. But then as I was working at Kamwaki Productions, I was really challenged. He was like, I'm actually going to give you your own projects to work on. Like one of the projects I did was for Miss World Kenya, 2009, which won her the Beauty with a Purpose category. So that was a project that he just threw at me and he said, figure it out, think about how you want to get it done.
Yeah. So he had such a great role
yes.
into you kickstarting that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you said that we are always given a template on who to be and what to become. And I'm guessing, what did you want to be when you were a child?
So I wanted to be a war correspondent.
Yeah,
particularly
war correspondent. Now you wanted to be the journalist.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so because Christina Manpur was covering the Bosnia war and what was happening, and I thought this is such an interesting person to be, because I was really concerned about human rights and what's wrong with the world. And then as I got older, I realized that I kind of like TV, but I also like computers. But we'll see how that goes. Then I started at Strath, did a bit of computers, like, it's so, it's not too bad.
So you did a little bit of everything.
I did a little bit of everything. And then that's when I went to Daystar. And then Daystar, because you have your classes of video production and script writing and all that. And guys would be like, oh my God, your schoolwork is so amazing. My script would even be used as an example in class. So I was like, you know what? I think there's, something here.
I was made for this,
Yeah.
So now you get into entrepreneurship. Take us through your journey. How did you leave your job? How then did you go tell everyone you're starting a business? Like, what was that transition process? Because I know it mustn't have been easy in a time where I think this generation is, the millennials were the first generation of people to literally launch into entrepreneurship just like that, straight from university, you know? Yeah, so tell us what that journey was like for you.
So I was editing a show called Vijana in Action that was airing on KBC. And during one of the shows, someone from government saw that show. And they were somewhere in the interior of Kisumu, and they saw it, and they called the station, and they were like, who's editing this show, who's doing this, who's doing that. So that I think was like the sparking fire, because then I felt like me and my boss weren't getting along, because I had all these ideas of what it was that I wanted to do, and they couldn't see the vision of what it is that I was talking about. So this, because now I had come from Kamwaki, and coming from Kamwaki, I had so much freedom to do projects that I desired.
Just moved to another place.
Yeah, I had moved to another place. So I had free reign at Kamwaki to do whatever it is that I wanted to do. So I was like, maybe it's time for me to start my own thing. So I registered. I went and I registered for an MBA. And then I went and then I told my dad, what, I think I want to do this. So he was like, if you want to do this, then you need to become a bit more serious. I need to see some level of...
What was it like? Was he excited?
He wasn't excited.
Or was he shocked? what was the expression when he said, I want to do this?
Yeah. Of course, there was that fear.
Yeah. Was he because from his end or yourself? From his end.
Yeah. Because, they came from a time when, you wake up, you get a job and you get a pension and that's how your life goes. So it was like, I don't know whether you're really ready to do this sort of thing. But I was like, just trust me, give me a bit of money. My mom bought me my first iMac. And then that's how we started. I just started with a computer, and then we went on from there.
Somewhere at the corner.
Yeah, somewhere at the corner of the house.
Okay, so you are excited. You've gone into this journey. What was it like? You were young. You're in your 20s.
Yeah.
You're starting a business. Were you taken seriously? What was it like as other people are going to work and you're doing your business? Take us down into the trenches of your entrepreneurship journey.
Yeah. At that time, I think also connections really work. I always say that there's no way that you can make money unless you know people in money. So in that aspect, I think I was very, very lucky, because then I was introduced to people who could give me jobs and all that. Because remember now, coming from Kamwaki, he had already been recommending me to different people and stuff like that.
Wow. Yeah.
So he was like, my mentee is doing this and this and this. You should go try out and see what it is that she's doing. And then also I had, should I say school recommendations as well, and then referrals from people. So it was actually a pretty good gig to actually begin with, because I worked as a, should I call it a freelancer at the time?
Yeah.
I guess that would be the best way to put it.
Yeah.
So I would work by myself, and then I'd hire people here and there to do the work for me. But definitely, lazima uchomwe. You have to get burnt here and there. So yeah.
At what point did you feel like, okay, entrepreneurship is not for me? I know you've stayed the course for a long time, but what was the defining moment? What was the make or break that I'm about to quit this, or I'm just gonna go on with this?
So this I think was in 2014. I think had been given a huge contract for the lake basins. So this was an inter-country project to do, and I had gotten a huge team together. There was live streaming and all of those things, and then the person who had gotten me the equipment malfunctioned, and so almost half of the footage that we had was almost unusable and stuff. And so it was very, very disappointing, because I ended up actually making a loss on that job because I couldn't deliver all of the work. So that was really, really tough for me, because I was like, and this was someone that I had really trusted, and then they deliver something to you and then it doesn't work out. So now I was like, so now I need to start being careful about the types of people that...
And you can imagine the type, losing all the content for an event that can't be redone.
It can't be redone. So now we had to pick things here and there and whatever. Luckily, the main conversation that happened was shot on a good camera. And it was just because I had insisted that it be shot on a certain quality of camera. And I think in my head, if we hadn't done that, then everything would have been lost.
So you sort of had to maneuver and find your way around it.
Yeah.
Okay. Was that the worst?
I'd say that was the worst. It was the worst because in terms of money, I made a huge, huge loss. It was hundreds of thousands, loss. And then also it really dwindled my network at that time, because then I felt like, hey, I can't just talk to any sort of person. I need to be very careful on the people that I'm bringing on board. And then also, I remember it was also a huge client. So definitely you can go back to that client and tell them, give me a job and
really
whatever.
The entire relationship and everything.
Yeah, so I couldn't go back to that client. So like sort of my portfolio sort of halved, I'd say. To be quite honest, it did.
Or really because of that incident. Okay, I know this is so cliche. They always ask, do you feel your experience is a bit different because you're a woman, entrepreneur, or do you feel the experience is the same? How do you see it?
I'd say it is. It is very different for women. I don't know. I guess I should just put it out there. I can remember I went for this meeting, and the person that I was talking to, he seated across from me, and then he seated with his legs apart, and then he said something along the lines of, "I want you to grab them by the." Everyone will understand what it is that I'm saying. I don't want to. Let's put it censored. Yeah, he actually said that to me. And
to grab who?
Yeah, so he wanted the product to grab the people by the and in my head I was like, this is so weird. Or, I remember this time I went for a meeting, and one of the guys, he was like, oh yeah, I've just flown in, meet me at the hotel and whatever. And then he's like, come up to my hotel room. And it's just,
it's so weird. Did you ever have to feel like you had to meet someone at a hotel room? Not that anything happened, but did you ever have that time and then you're like, no, I won't come, or you actually did, and then did you ever have such a time? Because I know it's common. Many people have had such stories.
No, for me, I'm normally very point blank. So I told them either calm down or, and that's the goodness of, having a bit of privilege. You get to tell people no, because I don't know.
The choice.
Yeah, you have the choice to tell someone no. If you have, the rent is paid and you're not thinking about how am I going to pay for the electricity. If someone tells you something stupid, you get to tell them, nah, I'm not doing that,
Like you have a sense of agency. All right. Would you do it again, knowing what you know now, and you are just still in your 20s? Would you still is it something you would still do?
It's something that I'd still do, because my personality is just naturally very independent, very bold. I like to try new things. And I think our work environment is very hard for me, because quality of products changes all the time. But one thing that makes businesses work is predictability. And if you're the kind of person that wants to try new things, you can't work well in a structured environment.
So it also allows you to explore your creativity.
Maybe I would pick less projects. I'd be more careful with the people that I partner with. That's what I think I'd do. But going down entrepreneurship, that road, definitely go down.
Right. Final question: what advice would you give for people who are young, they want to try out entrepreneurship, or even older who want to venture into entrepreneurship? What's your greatest advice that you would give such a person?
I'd say learn the business. As much as people think, guys just wake up in the morning and then say, I think I want to get into this and this and that. Like now production, I keep telling guys, especially, Gen Z, you want to get into production, but then right now it's like almost everyone is doing production in their own sort of way. Even someone who just has their camera, their phone camera, and then they're just doing stuff for Instagram.
Themselves, TikTok,
So what makes you different? Number one. Number two, you need to learn about money. And part of that is learning yourself, and then learning how money works. And then from there onwards, you can now think about strategy. What niches do you want to get into? What sort of particular areas do you want to cover? Stuff that is passionate to you. Doesn't mean that you can't do anything else that is new, but most times when you're getting into business, it's always easier to do stuff that you're passionate in, because then now you're excited to do it.
All right, thank you, Santa. Great insights we've had. We shall have another session to even discuss further, especially on your artistic expression. But thank you. We are really honored to have you as our first guest.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for staying here with us. This has been our very, very first show, and I really appreciate that you have stayed here the course with us on these Portraits of Hope. Let's see you next week.